We're live.
You are. Hey, look at that. You see that? It popped up on the screen this time.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Cool.
That's pretty daggone cool. Who's going to be the first one on here tonight? We got our first guests of season 2 coming on here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Wow. Man, we had a pretty good weekend this weekend, too.
Indeed, we did. And I tell you what, it was a memorable one.
I'll definitely never forget that.
Michael Fay, first one to chime in.
Chris Kosman, Rick Anderson, Greg Boggs. They're all starting to trickle in there. John Schultz. Ron, what's going on, Ron?
Ron's trimming that chicken.
Lisa, do you and Michael watch it together or like in different rooms or just giving us views?
Big Jim.
Mike Guts. Rick. Wow. Rick Manzi, followed by Rich Morris. I got confused there. I had to do a double take.
Papa Joe.
Yeah, Papa Joe Grilling Supplies. Same room. I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, headphones definitely work. So I'm going to Carl. What's going on, brother?
Oh, Mike did a great job this weekend. Thank you, Michael.
Michael, we couldn't do it without a daggone good class. That's for sure.
Absolutely, Manny. Yo, Manny. See, I moved the camera for you, Manny.
Yeah, I said that as soon as you popped on there, Manny. I'm like, you moved the camera.
I did it for you, Manny.
Oh, shit.
Rodney.
Man, I tell you what, though, you talk about one of the most fun weekends of my life. Man, it was a good time, and we had some pretty daggone good results, too.
Yeah, we did. I mean, finished top 11 out of what? Finished 11th. Sorry. Out of 47 teams, which was fantastic. Give big props to Michael Fay's class. It was well worth the class. You know, you think about things when you go and take a class, you know, is it going to make a difference? But, you know, we've seen a lot of people take his class and make a big difference in it. You know, it was one of me and Jake's on the list, had to take class, and we're glad he had it because I tell you what, it was truly awesome to have a top 10 in chicken, you know, finish 11th out of 47. I mean, we were totally shocked.
Day one, we were one of 5 teams to score above 170. Like, that's truly incredible.
What a 685. I mean, it was mind-blowing.
Oh, Brett Gallaway's in the comments. What's going on, Brett? Thanks for popping in here. We appreciate that. So, well, we won't keep it going on much longer here. I shared a good couple spots. Dave, we got a couple sponsors to thank you that make this whole daggone show possible.
My bad.
You're good. Bam. BoosterBarbecue.com. Shout out to our boy Chris Kosman. Use QChat10 for 10% off. Jim Hudgens steak seasoning. Got to give a shout out to Big Jim Hudgens. I'm going to be using that this weekend here in Lancaster.
Fantastic stuff, guys. Absolutely fantastic stuff.
I'll have a bottle for it for anyone who wants to try to smell it. That's one seasoning I'll have sitting out on that table, you know, to show everyone. I'll tell anyone that seasoning right there is the best ever at all. But yeah, we're ready to roll here.
If you take a spoonful of it, you can have the bottle.
There you go. If you take a mouthful of it, you can have the bottle. There you go.
Oh shoot.
So all right. Well, without any further ado, let's get on our 2 guests here that we got tonight. Brett Gallaway and Ken Phillips, the founders of the SCA, Steak Cook-Off Association. Let's bring them on here. Brett, Ken, thank you guys so much for coming on here.
Thanks for having us.
Ken made it in perfect timing.
Ken made it.
Impeccable.
I was plugging in my headphones and unplugged my computer.
Oh, nice. I got you. Brett was talking about your wonderful service that you have.
And there's that, so.
Not a problem. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on.
You guys look good, and I look gray, old, and fuzzy. So
hey,
it's all good.
Can't all have hair like Brett, flowing locks,
and we can't have a beard like yours, Dave.
Exactly. I'd rather have the hair on my head than the hair on my face.
Oh man! Well, thank you guys so much for coming on here. We no better way to kick off season 2 of our show than to have the founders of probably at least my favorite organization on the show. I know Dave definitely has to think the same way too with it. I mean, what you guys created is absolutely life changing for a lot of people. And so, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Introduce yourselves, and we'll get started here.
Go ahead, Ken.
Hey, I'm Ken Phillips, co-founder of the State Cook-Off Association. Live out here in the country, northwest Fort Worth, and just living the dream, really. Brett and I's crazy idea just keeps getting crazier. So, Brett?
Well, sometimes even a blind squirrel finds a nut, I think. We were competitors that just loved to compete and loved to cook and just found a passion for cooking steaks, and we're all restaurant managers. So being out in front of people and cooking for the public was kind of secondhand to us. And we went to our first event and we were hooked. After that, we have a little cook team called the United States of America. And we just had a blast cooking, and one thing led to another. And we ended up down this path towards SCA.
And you were telling this a little bit of story before we went live, and I cut you off there so we could go live. You guys won a world championship, but we found out it was 80-some teams and 6 judges.
Well,
yes.
In the old days, the system was a lot different than it is now. And nowadays, we've got multiple tables of judges. But yeah, at that event, they use one table of judges. And it's not one of our events now, but it's a great event. We had a great time there.
They put them in a storefront on Main Street, and they had a 5-gallon bucket sitting next to them. They all had linebacker kind of builds, and there were about 80 teams, and those guys tasted every steak. They take it, do it, and then into the spit bucket. Do it into the spit bucket. So it was like, wow.
Sounds like an old Western
I'm glad
story.
we stood out in the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a great time, and it just opened the doors to other things, to more events. And we started going to events, and promoters would come ask us questions. And Ken and I are sitting there cooking a steak, trying to win $2,500, and promoter walks up with 2 steaks in his hand. What do I do? I had no idea what the rules were even. I just knew we were doing well, and I didn't want to change them. So, but it happened in a couple of events, and that's when we decided, hey, we should try running one event and kind of change the way judging's done, run more than one table, just change some things up. And I think our first event was in Louisville, Texas by the lake, and we had 42 teams. Is that right, Ken?
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
What year was
that
there?
event that was ran?
2013.
Wow.
Yeah, that was our first.
Lake Louisville. We were at all these events, and we listened to what people were saying. They hated that things got judged late. They hated that the judges had to eat so much. They hated that the person doing the awards spouses cooking in the event. They treated cooks poorly. We come from the hospitality background where you treat your customers nice.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, that one escaped everybody. They barked at you from the minute you got there. Gee, thank you for taking our money. It's like, wow, they forgot who their customer was. And we never do.
No, you definitely feel welcome. I mean, nothing against any other events. I mean, we just do KCBS and ASTA, and you want to feel welcome and taken care of. But there's something special about the SCA of just how simple it is for one, but just how anywhere you go. Granted, we also have the best KCBS reps in the world up here in the Mid-Atlantic. I've never been anywhere else. I'm just going to go ahead and say they're the best. Sorry for anyone else out there, but. Just it feels welcome, and it feels, like anyone. It's a whole big family event.
Well, and that's a tribute. All we did was roll the ball out there and let guys play with it. I think it's a tribute to the people that are cooking in the events, and we try to share our culture with our reps, but people out there are so willing to share tips with each other and information. And a new guy comes in, and they don't put them in the corner, or they're not hiding in their trailer. They're out there. You get Johnny Joseph or Tim or Sandy Brown, and they're out there, helping new people, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Naive me,
his family.
When we first started, I'd go next door and say hello to the neighbor, in case, we needed to borrow something, which usually we did.
Always.
And to say, we have a lot of booze to share in case you're thirsty. And, at grilling events, people were very welcoming to that. And we didn't come from a barbecue background. And so doing that at a barbecue event, they thought I was spying on them. It was like, who are you? It was like a different world. And so,
So did you guys used to do KCBS or any sort of like Texas Barbecue Association events or anything like that? Or, how did you guys get into the competition cooking side of things?
Well, we actually started in the steak world, and there was 9 of them before when we started cooking. There was probably 7 when we started, but when we ended, there was 9, and I was bored. There wasn't enough events. The whole season was 3 months long, and Ken, that was funny for Ken.
Brett and I worked at this recruiting company. We worked at a big Dallas restaurant recruiting company together. That's where we met. And Brett saw the show on the Food Network about festivals. And there's a steak festival in Hico, Texas. He saw the show and he goes, "We need to go win that." So he talked people at work to go out there and some guys from church. And so we went out there and just got pants. It was ugly.
Yeah, we
didn't have anything. But we had the time of our lives. The people that were there were so friendly. It's like, wow, this was fun. And then we'd tell our wife, we're going on a recruiting trip to go find kitchen managers. Then we'd go to these cook-offs.
That's funny. That's too funny.
That's how we got started in the.
It's really contagious.
So you said it all started in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we've been doing it for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years.
I think 3 years from now.
The progressiveness of steaks since, when it started, I mean, now they seem like they're so dialed in and round and everything like that. I mean, was it back then where it was like just throwing that complete ribeye on there and just cooking it?
Yeah.
Can you show them that picture in the office, Brett?
I can't get over there without
messing up your hair.
There is a picture on the wall of the steak we won with. It almost looks like the shape of the United States of America, believe it or not.
The tail is still on there, all fat.
We kept the tail on, and we had grill marks. We were the only team with grill marks back then because we had grill grates and nobody else did. They were like the secret weapon back then. Then we opened our mouths and,
when we won Magnolia that first year, Brett and I were the only ones that used grill grates at that event.
Yeah.
The very next year, and they've done this event for 30 years, everybody who was a contender had grill grates.
See, and that's when things start changing.
Our first sponsor.
There you go. That's awesome.
It was, and they're still our biggest sponsor, or one of our biggest. Well, you're seeing guys now. You're starting to see a trend where people are actually cooking in a cast iron skillet.
Yeah,
whether they're doing one side or both, the sear's starting to make an appearance as well. So it's neat to see it. Different things.
Hope Brad's not watching.
Well, that if they're using the back of a grill grate, he'll still be happy. But guys are doing a lot of different things, and things are evolving, and that's just part of the natural process, I think.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you guys have kept it very simple, as to, it's literally just a steak. You can either have grill grates or you can sear it. And I know that's kind of the controversy now of some people are like, oh, it's turning into KCBS. You guys are making it turn into, it has to be, cupcake pan chicken.
No.
It has to be grill
over
grates.
my dead body.
Yeah.
We stay so far away from creating a profile. On our example pictures, we use cartoon pictures. We never get to taste the winner because after it's scored at the table, we pull the scores off of those boxes until they're blinded. So we never get a chance to go back and taste, what the winning steak tastes like. We tell the judges, does it taste good to you?
Yeah.
Even in our classes, a picture of a ribeye is an illustration.
Yep.
And because there's some people who are upset because a picture was a steak that I cooked in my backyard that was not a pretty steak to begin with, but they said, well, we were creating a profile by using that picture. So we got a nice illustration of a ribeye off of page 4 of Google, and that's what we use. It's just a cartoon, just an illustration.
At our judge classes, we teach them our process of judging. We don't teach them what to look for.
Right.
It's all, the only thing we have a standard on is the doneness.
Yep.
And it's medium. Not that it's our favorite. It's the hardest one to execute.
Yes.
Rare is easy. You just undercook it.
Right.
Right. Well done. Unfortunate. But
we've got a doneness card we use in our deal. And we used to have one color, and it was a solid pink. This was it, this reddish pink. And it seemed judges would either give them a 7 or a 6 or a 10. Either we're all in or all out on it. And so I was on Google and I was searching steak variations, and I found this picture. I said, this is it, I think. And I sent to Ken. He's like, that's what I was thinking about. And so we went ahead and used it and said, man, this is great. And if you hit the top and bottom, it's 7s. And we changed it to 7 to 10. Well, I didn't realize it, but my buddy David Haskett down in Florida, he's sitting in Outback Steakhouse, sends me a picture, and he's like, you're real original.
Looks familiar.
I was like, damn it. I didn't realize that was the picture they used. It was
No way.
a G image I found on Google, but it works perfect. And now we see they're within 1 point.
The range on one steak at the same table, back in the old days, it used to be a 4-point range. And when we did the picture, it reduced that range to 1 point. It could be 9s and 10s or 8s and 9s, but the difference across the table was 1 point.
That's good.
Wow. Did you guys ever think it would turn into being like it is today? You have you said, Brett, before we came on here, they just keep rolling in here. How many are you at so far this year?
It was 535 when I looked a while ago. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's in 18 countries, and there's people in in Europe that are just incredible cooks that they've proven it by coming over here. And Daniel Rader got a 4th in the world. So
COVID has really hurt us internationally, more so than here in the United States. In a normal year, we were doing 30 events in Europe, and we were almost hit to 30 in Australia. And right now we're only at about 30 international altogether, and New Zealand has added 10. So when that turns around, international will take off again.
So
imagine when that happens. Ooh.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So what's it like going from hosting that one event to having someone in Australia or New England, or not New England, England, period,
England.
Europe area?
Queen.
How does it feel to what was it like to take that step and have someone way overseas, want to be a part of what you guys do? How'd that even come about? Hearing about you online and all, or what? How that's amazing to me.
Great story. I'll start and you take it over.
All right.
Brett came into the office. We have a recruiting business. And when the economy went to hell in 2008, the company that Brett and I worked for went out of business. Brett and I started our own recruiting company. And so we had the same offices together, and came in one day and goes, wow, I got this email from a guy from Amsterdam. He wants us to come over there and do an event. I go, right. I go, how much are tickets? Oh, wow, that's a lot. I go, it's a hoax, Brett. He goes, no, he's really serious. Well, if he buys the tickets, tell him we're all in. So he not only bought the tickets, put us up in a great hotel, and took us out for dinner every night, picked us up at the airport. And, it was incredible.
So go ahead, Brett.
He's our business partner in Europe actually now. He's the one that helped get us started there, and he's responsible for a lot of things in Europe, the way it's going. And after that we got a call from Australia. Jay Beaumont from Australia called us, and they believed in us enough to bring us back multiple times to train reps there. And so now we have a team in Europe, a team in Australia, New Zealand, and because as big as it is, it's hard to get everywhere, and you just have to have local people to make it affordable for the people that are running.
That was 4 years ago, Brett. It was one of my posts in the morning. 4 years ago on Facebook, we're sitting in a restaurant with Tuffy Stone and Dave Beaumont and Adam Roberts, and we never really spent any time with these guys or ever met them. And our first day there, we're like long lost brothers.
So you said you were in Amsterdam with Tuffy Stone.
Yeah.
He went over with you as well. That's got to be a story.
They're big. The ABA over there. It's their big barbecue alliance over there.
Meat stock.
Meat stock. And so they bring a celebrity. They bring Tuffy over one year. They may bring Big Mo over. I think Diva Q went last year. There's always a big, celebrity from America, and usually they've been on television of some sort. And so they bring them in, and we all end up hanging out together over there. It's kind of neat to see. And they are where American barbecue was 8 years ago, just on fire, where Pitmasters was, everyone's watching Pitmasters. You didn't miss it. That's where their passion is now in Australia.
Wow.
It's on fire. So it's really cool to go over there. And thankfully now they're catching on to the SCA buzz as well.
So did the profiles change between the states here to there with the way they cook the steaks or anything like that? Or, I mean, is it?
It's very similar. Ken and I were in Japan, and Ken remembers this story well. We had a translator that was going to do, we had to do a class, and I'm like, dang, I tend to ramble on. This is going to take like 6 hours. And the girl, she translated everything, and we finished the judges meet, or we finished our judging class, and then we did a cooking class. But once we started the event, we did the cooks meeting, and I saw 6 guys sitting in the back corner there, and I'm just kind of walking around, and I look over their shoulder, and they're watching Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right doing an SCA steak.
No way.
So
making notes in Japanese.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
The guy that got dead ass last there, he marinated his steak in vanilla ice cream. I don't know
ice cream. The guy that won.
Go ahead, kid.
The guy that won is a machinist, and he saw grill grates, but they're not available in Japan back then. He built a set of grill grates out of steel.
Shut up.
Wow.
And he cooked his steak on there, and he won the thing.
Wow.
So when you go to another country, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, the judge or the teams? If someone calls you up for in Papua New Guinea and says, hey, we want to do an SCA competition, is it because they have interest in it there, or just because someone wants to host it? Let's get Brett and Ken down there. Do you guys do judges or, introduce teams? How does that work for going across the seas?
We do both. We start out with a class. So both judges and teams come to the class and learn the process and what's going to happen. And then the next day, some people are judges and some people are cooks. And that's what we did when we first went to Europe. And then we did a couple of events, and we made a deal with Harry. Like, okay, now you run a few events, and we'll come back next year and make sure you're doing it right. Just to go back to Amsterdam again.
For real.
Just to make sure they're on.
Just to make sure.
Exactly.
They got some interesting things going, but then we do it again, and it gets closer. Really remarkable how close these events are wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did the whole awards thing set up, man? When I tell people about steak competitions, I tell them guaranteed $1,000 to win, a gold ticket to the World Championships in Fort Worth, Texas. How did that begin, and how is that still manageable with 500 some competitions going on in a year to be able to put that out?
Well, I thought I'd be retired by now. I just turned 60 and I'm working harder than I ever have. But it's not like working. I used to interview people and they go, I travel 40 weekends a year. I go, are you nuts? And so Brett and I travel about 47 weekends a year. But when you're doing it and it's not a job, it's living the dream, really.
Yeah.
When an 87-year-old man, you put his arm around his back to take a picture with him, and he's trembling, that's what
awards.
keeps you going to the next weekend, whether you're tired or not.
That's
People
There's so many
cry.
great stories we've seen that just keep
You know,
us
it's
going.
so emotional.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was not emotional, but I forgot what to say.
Oh, I forgot all my sponsors and my
Exactly.
wife.
As Jake yells at me from the seat. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
I remember that.
No, Brett, you were there when I got my second place, the saw blade this year at West Newton, and
Yes.
I didn't know what to say and shaking and trembling, and Dave gets the same way, and it's amazing. You see people like they just don't even know what to say. It's amazing. It's like I said, it's life changing for a lot of people that they cooked a steak and they did it great. And
Exactly.
The social phenomenon that has happened was completely unexpected. There's people that they have their job, their kids, their lives, and they come out to these events and wow, it's about me. I'm making new friends.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
If you spend a season cooking with us, you're gonna have 100 new friends.
Oh yeah.
And not just a face on Facebook. It's you're good friends. People invite us to stay at their homes. Brett, early on, because how do you keep getting invited to these parties? Or people invite us over. It's like, yeah, we're coming. And so, when we first started this, we traveled on the cheap. We slept on a lot of couches and met some great people.
I thought that's where you're going with this. I was known for booking crappy hotels, man. If I walk up and it's wafting curry out of the window and there may be some bars, I probably booked it. So I booked some really bad ones, and now it's
I can't remember where we were. Brett, was always very, very frugal, still is. And him and his wife stayed at this hotel because it was like $69. And I'm like, no way, I can't do that. And him and his wife are getting ready in the morning to go to the event, and they're watching the news on the hotel. And there's, the clerk at the front desk had gotten murdered at the hotel. And his wife goes, "Oh, that's our hotel."
Yeah.
The newscast was from the check-in at the hotel they were staying at.
I literally walked around the cone where they had put, where they had
the chalk line.
It was bad.
$69.
$69, you get a murder.
It's a bonus.
Got your money worth. Hey, you can say you got your money worth.
Saying any publicity is good publicity. I think that's like a little too much.
Yeah, trading your SCA bags through the murder scene.
What's funny is that's not the worst place we've stayed.
Oh no. But what are your guys? What are the plans and the goals for SCA from here? I mean, what all you plan on being like every country, every state? Are they in every state now? You have an Alaska one?
We almost did. We had one tentative, and then the location fell through. COVID's still a problem in some areas, and so the Rocky Mountains is kind of the void on the map. So we're going to get into Montana, Hawaii. Anybody listening?
Wow.
I want to come to Hawaii.
I'll go with you.
Yeah. We're going to be in Montana, and then the very northeast, like Vermont and New Hampshire, and so there's a few places in the Northwest. I think we're at 42 states now.
Yeah, 42.
Man. It's incredible. We never saw this coming. We just tapped into something that is successful in Fort Worth, Texas, Amsterdam, Japan, Mexico, Alabama, and it's all about people. We live by the golden rule: be nice to people, thank them for being there, it's about having fun. Absolutely. And the integrity of judging. We can look any person in the eye and say they won or lost fair and square. It's a random event. Nobody knows who's who. And that's why first timers win a lot.
Yeah.
It's just whoever got the highest score wins. The end. It's not a popularity contest.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing is you see every cooks meeting, who is this their first event, and you see 3, 4, sometimes 5, 6 hands go up, and 9 times out of 10, at least 1 or 2 of them are walking that day.
They beat Johnny Joseph or Sandy Brown or these people that have won a lot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's
amazing.
integrity, but we want to grow this and keep that integrity.
Mm-hmm.
It's the spirit of it. Those things that are important to us. The integrity of the judging and the friendships, and it's not cutthroat, and it's about. And I'm most proud of the money that we've raised for charities.
Absolutely.
Probably 90% of all the events that we do are charity fundraisers, and we've made. I need to start keeping track of that number. But all of the cancer societies, the Masons, Shriners, Rotary clubs, VFW clubs, veterans organizations, autism. We've raised literally millions of dollars for those groups, and so not only are we having fun making new friends, it's the golden rule. It's been around forever. Just do good, and good comes back.
I think one of the best things I saw from COVID, at least up in this area, where instead of everyone's browsing the steaks or grazing the steaks, if you will, seeing like all the dogs get steaks on Tuesdays. They go to like some animal shelter, and it's really warm and fuzzy to see all these dogs just enjoying these steaks for some odd reason or another. That was like my favorite part of doing an SCA is on Tuesday morning, turning on my phone and seeing all the dogs eating steaks. I mean, it's just everyone.
That's really unique. There's a lady in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Helped us get into that. In a lot of areas, those leftover steaks go to firemen and homeless shelters, the police.
Championship.
The championship. There's a homeless shelter in Fort Worth, and so all of the leftover steaks, they felt like they were kids for the day. They got to eat steak.
Yeah, that's even cooler than the dogs. I didn't know about that. I'm all for that stuff, man. That's
300 teams both days, and all the extra food went to the homeless.
They put up some wonderful posts.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you have like 5 or 6 people, including Dave and I, involved in Hawaii right now. So
good. We're in.
All we need is land.
It sounds so exotic, but I went to Australia 4 times in 2019. In the cheap seats.
Oh yeah.
18-hour flight. Sitting like this.
I could barely do an hour.
And just had the time of my life. It was so fun. They're so friendly, and learning how to drive on the left side of the road. And
you're saying you learned how to drive on the left? I don't think you
got that don't tell.
I don't know.
So, what's each one of you? What's your most memorable moment from starting this whole thing? Aside from going to different countries and all, and the guys in Japan watching Malcolm Reed. Each one of you? What's your most memorable moment? After starting this.
Well, the World Food Championships was my big moment, but
which one?
WFC.
What was it? Go ahead.
We did when I looked down and my contact popped out.
Oh yeah.
What's that story?
There's a hell of
I can't even tell you. It's that's one that's kind of ingrained in my head. But God, we've had so much fun. Seeing people come running up at awards and knock over the table and the trophies and giving you a bear hug and knocking my back out.
Sonny Moody picking up a full-size fire hydrant.
Full-size fire hydrant.
Jeff couldn't handle it.
There's just been so many. It's just so hard to reduce to one.
I think my favorite one is Scott Lindley when his son cooked. Scott's got a son that's autistic, and Scott has been he brings him out to the events, and everyone loves Cody. He's a great kid, but I wasn't at the event, but I watched the video, and Cody cooked his first event and got a 6th place, and I have goosebumps. The crowd went. He got a call.
He was
went
bawling.
Nuts. Scott was hugging him, and he was bawling, and I was bawling. And I just thought it was awesome that this young man that's went through some challenges, and he went out there and he beat some really big names that day, and just to see that was so heartwarming for me.
There's a cook here in Texas that has MS and is in a wheelchair. And
he's watching.
Is watching. Great guy. I didn't know that. I didn't see that, but it's a sport he can compete in, and he kicks ass.
He does.
And it's really changed his life.
Yeah.
And just seeing the raw pure joy that happens at these events is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm moving about 10 miles from him, and I can't wait to hang out with him at Gallawayville and cook some steak. We've already talked about it.
He's a great guy.
Jason, if you're watching, I can't wait, brother.
You know, you guys, it also gets the kids involved too. I mean, young kids, you guys have your own version of Kids Q. Well, it is Kids Q. But you even have kids, you know, and not saying she's a kid, but like Riley the Steak Princess, she's 13, 14 years old, out here taking it. You know,
we lowered our competition age first to 16 and then now down to 13 because there's some 13. We had 8 or teenagers that competed in our world championship. 8 of them out of the 300 teams were under 18 years old.
That's awesome.
Under 18. So, and they did really well. They compete with the adults, and
because
so that's kind of been our focus.
Yeah, it's that easy. You know, anyone can do it, and anyone compete with anyone. I mean, first time, 100th time. You know, kids, anyone can do this competition. It's so fun and easy.
Affordable. It's affordable. You know, when we first started this, it was in 2008 and 9 when we first started cooking, not the SCA. And in the recruiting business, when the economy went to hell, you guys are probably too young to even remember that. You know, the company we worked for went out of business. And so money was really tight. And so, you know, by creating something that is affordable was really important to us. You know, and the return where you could actually make some money. So, you know, that's another core value that's really important, is keeping it where everyone can afford to come out and compete, even a teenager.
And speaking on that, you know, there's a lot of things going on now. Are you guys seeing doubles becoming more of a normal thing anymore?
They're more normal than a single now. And we didn't think that. We were worried the perception value of a double is now we're entry fees are near where it is to cook maybe a barbecue. We just don't want to ever have that perception that it's too expensive. So we've made a conscious effort. You can enter one cook-off if you want. You don't have to cook two. And
if a promoter wants to do a double or a triple, we say you still have to make a single available to anyone who wants to compete.
That's awesome.
And we listened to the cooks. They wanted multiples because, you know, they have one travel cost and they could do 2 or 3 events.
Absolutely.
And the chances of winning, obviously, you know, you do a single and like, oh, gee, I only give away 10 prizes.
Right.
When you do a double, you know, wow, 20 people.
Yeah. All about that double life. I mean, that's made life so much easier. I mean, I think I'm doing 16 competitions, but I'm only going to 8 events this year. And that's,
you know, this isn't about me and Brett. It's about what the cooks want. We don't care. We don't cook. You know, what's important to the cooks, he wants to cook.
Hard.
You know, we agreed never to cook in our own organization. And it's been tough on Brett because he was always the cook. You know, I was always the logistics guy. I got us there alive, on time.
Fix fires on the side of the highway. Things.
Whatever. We got there on breath sometimes.
You guys have never cooked in an SCA contest.
We messed around.
Well, we've done some
barbecue in Vegas that we did, but not an official SCA event. No.
Thank you, John Lindsay, for that.
What made you guys not want to? Like, I get it and I admire that, but
it's not about us. It's what the teams want. You know, it keeps our ear to the ground and what's important to our participants.
Perception's reality. If I won the event or Ken won an event, what would people say? It's rigged. And I want to avoid that perception at all costs. And I'd rather
that or the King's reign supreme.
In Texas, a promoter's wife can compete, you know, and so I know those guys and they are incredible cooks, but I hear the chatter in the background. Guys are always saying things, and I just didn't want to go down that route, and Ken agreed for sure.
Yeah. We're always going to keep it fun, affordable, and absolutely honest and fair. And we're going to continue to represent what the majority wants. Yeah. We are humble. You know, if that's something that's important to our participants, then it's important to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I know I asked, what your goals were. Where is there any idea of where this, is going to end up going somewhere? I mean, comparatively all states, all countries, but like, it's just a roller coaster ride there. It looks like you don't know where the end of the journey is because it just keeps growing.
We don't have a mapped out plan where it's going to be. 3 or 4 years ago, I would have just thought that this would have been just fantasy talk. We've seen some amazing things, and we're just going to stay true to our core values and see where it takes us.
Absolutely. Do you see the? Go ahead, Brett.
My goal is not to make Shazam Q up there fall asleep, but
he does that. He does that.
Shazam.
I agree with Ken. We take it year by year and just really plan out for the next year, but I don't know past that. I just hope we can continue what we're doing and continue, the relationships that people are making is awesome. We didn't plan that. That's the best part of what's happened out of SCA. So
we know who our customers are.
Absolutely.
And it's our SCA family. So we work hard to take care of them. So we're going to continue that.
Dave, you need to speak up, man. The comments are just ripping you right now.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
Shazam.
I was not falling asleep. I was looking at the other screen.
Josh says you're dozing off. Greg Boggs wants to know where the radio voice is. You got
the radio voice.
But it isn't me.
Oh, man.
Hey, I need to tap out. We've got company over for dinner. I made my daughter chicken and noodles.
No problem, Ken.
When I want to see my daughter, who's now 32, I always make chicken and noodles, and she comes over to visit.
Sounds good, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on here.
Hey, thank you. Invite us back.
I'll see you this Saturday at Lancaster.
Deal.
So, all right. Have a good evening, Ken.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Now it's you, Brett.
And then there's one.
So I got a question here for you, and I wanted to ask this when Ken was on here, but I mean, he had to go. Do you see this, becoming something like Barbecue Pitmaster spinning off this, where people, TV shows, film SCA contests and it being like an SCA Barbecue Pitmaster style thing?
We filmed a couple pilots, and honestly, the ones we filmed were almost contrived, not by our end, but they wanted you to pit like boyfriend, girlfriend against each other, and it felt awkward, and there was no guarantees they were even going to place, and of course they didn't in that event. And the other one just didn't hit. So we filmed a couple pilots, and I've done some stuff on YouTube, which I think is fun, and it's 3 guys going head to head, and they're cooking 3 meats in 3 hours, and I like doing that. That was fun to do, and it kind of showcased some different people of SCA, which was really the goal, is let's bring new people into this, is why we did it. And I could see that format maybe working well, but I don't know if that's the end goal. I think it's more just keep doing what we're doing and just watching how things develop with everybody that's in it. Hey, my buddy Dave. Those guys will put a hurt on you in Australia, I'll tell you that. They're awesome.
I'd love to go to Australia to cook, man.
It's a blast.
Australia's full of barbecue and dirt sprint cars. I think there's no other country about that.
Yeah, just buy your liquor at the airport. It's twice the price there. Jess Prowse taught me that. I'm like, thanks, Jess. Yes. She taught me something.
Oh, man. Well, Dave, you got anything? I got one more question, but I don't want to hold you back here.
Let it rip. I'm falling asleep.
He's snoring. He'll be the first person I put to sleep.
So in barbecue, they had the Sam's Club series.
Yeah.
There's little ones popping up now, like the Rufus Teague series. Our buddy Jason puts on down in North Carolina, Georgia area, in the southern area. Do you see like series coming along for SCAs where it's sponsored by, Grill Grazer, sponsored by Q Chat, and it's a not so much a tour, but a weekend points chase? Have you seen any of those coming around anywhere?
What we're seeing is a lot of state deals, and it's people in that state with a passion and that are doing it. There's an Arkansas points chase. There's California, Utah is starting one now. There's several of them around the country, and then they host their own event where people that placed in their state come and compete for the championship of that state through that, the chase they created, and it's creating some local interest in head to head, and it even changed the way we do points. We're still doing our points the same. This year it's different. There you go, Greg Boggs. Matter of fact,
Yep.
You guys talked about it this week at the
Yep.
last week when I was in Greencastle. But
Yep.
The way we do points, it's your top 15 SCA scores now, your top 15 SCA points.
Yeah.
And we're gonna work it out that way. But if you get on the point sheet, now you can sort it by state and see how you are against guys in your region. So it's kind of influenced that a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's neat. It's just another challenge for everybody, and I like it. I'm a fan of it.
I really like it too. I really like the website as well, how easy it is. You go on, you find the cook-off, you find the weekend, you find where there's one local, you click on it. I think the only thing would be easier is if you pulled in, your zip code and put in 500 miles or 300 miles, something like that to pull everything up for the year, and you can plan all that off. But your guys' website, the ease and use of it is so easy.
I agree with you, and that's one thing I wish we had. We have the map on there, but we use the same system we use since year 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. And it has its limitations. So that's one of the things is we can't set it up to sort by, zip code to where it gives you only your local events. And, maybe one day we'll have a bigger website that'll allow us to do it. But that website, if anybody that's watching and had been a couple years ago, it wasn't as easy to use. And we've just tweaked it along the way. And I'm the one that gets to mess with it. And I'm constantly trying to find easier ways. To me, it looks like a cell phone now. You push this button, you're a promoter, boom, it takes you there.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of the way I try to design it around a cell phone.
I think the best worst thing is I have it just right there in my PayPal account, where I just hit PayPal and I'm already looking at the account. I'm like, that was one button way too easy. I didn't have time to think about it.
Click, you're done.
What's that?
I said that wasn't by design at all.
I love it. So, well, Brett, we've kept you here for 45 minutes. Dave's falling asleep here. I'm sure you got a lot to go on. Where are you headed to this weekend?
Oh man, where am I going? I was in Peoria, Arizona last week, and this week I'm in Savannah, Georgia. Sorry, Savannah, Georgia.
Nice.
Not that far for you.
I've got a class Friday, cook-off Saturday, back home. And then I think I head to Anaheim, then to Simi Valley, and then it gets real fuzzy.
Wow.
Simi Valley.
Awesome.
Daggone, man. How many COVID tests have you had to take with all this traveling, out of curiosity?
I've taken quite a few of them. I want to be safe, and I want to make sure people around me are safe. And my wife's got a mom that's had surgery, quite a few surgeries recently. So I've taken quite a few of the things. Man, it
pretty nose swabbed out.
Feel it up here.
So, but alrighty, Brett. Well, thank you again so much for coming on here. We sprung this on you at Ironman, and we appreciate you being on here with us.
Definitely, thank you.
I appreciate it, and thanks, Dave. Appreciate you having me on, and
absolutely
anytime, guys.
Absolutely. We'll take you up on that. Sounds good. All right, stay safe, sir.
Weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on the next one. All right, guys. Well, that was Brett and Ken from SCA.
Oh, look at that. Scott's going to Savannah, Georgia. Oh,
he's going to get on and pick up. Yeah, I know what he's doing down there.
Oh, yeah. He sold that other one today.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's right. So, well, guys, Dave, you got anything here to wrap it up with?
No, I'm great. I mean, like I said, all the time, we greatly appreciate everything, guys. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll kick it off next week, and we will see you guys out on the – I'll see you at Lancaster this week. I don't think Dave's coming out.
I might.
So, all right. Well.
Until next time.
Next time.
See you guys.